Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. So today I am going to start chapter 2, the address in your snapshot book. Okay, so let us begin. Chapter 2, the address in snapshot by Marga Minko. Okay, written by Marga Minko. So before beginning, as I always do, so let me give you a small introduction of the lesson. The story is about the human predicament that follows the pre-war and post-war period. Mrs. S, who was a Jews, was a rich lady, whereas Mrs. Dorling was a non-Jewish. Okay, the girl, daughter of Mrs. S, had lost her house and her mother during the war, and now she had decided to come back to take her possession from Mrs. Darling, an acquaintance whose address was given by her mother years ago. When she reached the house, the woman treated her with a cold reception and didn't let her into her house. She decided to go back anyway, and then she met her daughter, who let her in and told her to wait inside. When she saw all the possessions in front of her, she couldn't connect with them and decided to leave the house. Okay, so it's really a very interesting story about a woman who, after many years, goes back to take her possessions. Okay, so let us begin and enjoy the lesson. Do you still know me? I asked. The woman looked me searchingly. She had opened the door. Aching. Aching means, narrow opening. She did not open the door properly. I came closer and stood on the step. No, I don't know you. I am Mrs. S. daughter. So here you can see that in the beginning, the protagonist, the narrator, asked the lady, the woman who opened the door, whether she knew her, but whether she still knew her, but she denied. She looked at her searchingly. She had opened the door. She did not open the door properly. She had opened the door a chink, a narrow opening. She did not open the door fully. I came closer and stood on the step. The protagonist, she went closer and stood on the step. No, I don't know you. The lady, the woman replied, the lady who opened the door. Okay, she replied that she had not known girl, to protagonist. I am Mrs. S. daughter. Further, she replied that she was Mrs. S. daughter. She held her hand on the door as though she wanted to prevent it opening any further, but she was standing in a way at the door. Her hand was on the door as though she did not want to open the door properly. She did not let the narrator go into her room, let the protagonist go into her house. So that is why she said that she held her hand on the door as though she wanted to prevent it opening any further. She did not want to open the door properly. So it shows that she did not she was not willing to the protagonist to enter her house. Her face gave absolutely no sign of recognition, and her facial expression tells the narrator that uh, she was looking the way she was not recognizing the protagonist, the narrator. She kept staring at me in silence, and the lady kept staring at the girl who went her house in a silence. Perhaps I was mistaken. I thought perhaps it isn't her. So protagonist, the narrator, thought that he had mistaken. It was not that woman's house. Sorry, it was not that woman's house whom she wanted to visit. So she surprised. She thought that she might have mistaken and she reached some wrong house. Okay, for a moment I had seen her only once fleetingly. So as further she added that she had seen that lady only once and for a short time. So that is why she was not sure, and that was years ago, and it happened years ago. She saw the lady once and for a short time before many years. So that is why she could have mistaken. It was most probable that I had rung the wrong bell. Further, she thought that probably she had rung the wrong bell. The woman let go of the door and stepped to the side. So the woman let go of the door and stepped to the side. She closed the door and stand to a side. She was wearing my mother's green knitted cardigan. So the lady who opened the door, she was wearing the narrator's mother's green knitted cardigan. The wooden buttons were rather pale from washing, and the wooden button they became pale. She saw that I was looking at the cardigan and half hid herself again behind the door. So as the narrator, the lady did not open the door properly, so narrator could not see the full cardigan. So she could see the half cardigan, okay, because she was hiding herself behind the door. But I knew now that I was right. So now she was sure that she was right. Okay. So once again, let me revise what we have discussed in the chapter, what we have read, what we have seen. The protagonist asked the woman standing at the door if she still knew her. The lady had opened the door a little. The protagonist came closer to the door and stood there. The woman responded negatively, and the protagonist still gave her introduction. She said she was Mrs. S's daughter. So the woman had held the door tightly as she didn't want her to enter her house. She kept staring at the protagonist, though she could not recognize her. The protagonist thought maybe she had come at the wrong house. She had seen the woman for a short time and years ago. The woman who answered the door stepped aside and let go of the door. The protagonist recognized her mother's green knitted cardigan that the woman was wearing. The wooden buttons had become pale because of the washing. The woman noticed the protagonist looking at the cardigan. She hid behind the door. So now the protagonist knew she had come to the right house. Well, you knew my mother? I asked. So further, the protagonist asked the woman whether she knew about her mother. Have you come back? Said the woman. So now the woman replied. So in order to reply, so instead of replying, she asked her a question. So have you come back? So whether she had come back. I thought that no one had come back. And further, the woman added that she thought that no one had come back. Only me. A door opened and closed in the passage behind her. A musty smell emerged. So only me, she said, only I have come. A door opened and closed in the passage behind her. So behind the lady, in the passage, a door opened and closed. A musty, a stale smell was coming. I regret I cannot do anything for you. So she said, so here the lady said he regretted because she could not do anything for the protagonist. I have come here specially on the train. I wanted to talk to you for a moment. So further, the protagonist informed that she had went there specially on the train because she wanted to talk to that woman for a moment. So it is not convenient for me now, said the woman. At this, the woman replied, so it is not convenient for me to talk to you. I can't see you another time. So I can't see you. So I can't talk to you another time. Come again. Come later. She nodded and cautiously closed the door as though no one inside the house should be disturbed. So she denied, she nodded, and very cautiously she closed the door so that no one inside her house get disturbed. I stood where I was on the step. Still the protagonist kept on standing on the step where she was. The curtain in front of the bay window moved. Someone stared at me and would then have asked what I wanted. Oh, nothing, the woman would have said. It was nothing. Then someone was staring at the protagonist and asked what had she wanted. So instead that lady replied, so the woman replied that it was nothing. Okay, so once again look at this line. I stood where I was on the step. The curtain in front of the bay window moved. Someone stared at the protagonist and would then have asked what I wanted, what she wanted. Oh, nothing, the woman would have said. So the woman might have said nothing. Okay, it was nothing. So she said, she replied that the protagonist wanted nothing. Okay, so what we have discussed in this paragraph. The protagonist asked the woman about her mother. The woman asked her if she had come back. She replied, only to her, and no one else came with her. The woman opened the door, and a passage was behind her. A stale smell occurred all over. The woman told her that she could not do anything for her. The woman told her it is not convenient to talk right now and asked her to come back later. The woman closed the door as she didn't want anyone to get disturbed in the house. So the protagonist was still standing on the step. She saw a curtain moving on the window bay. Someone was staring at her from inside the house. She thought it was nothing, as the woman would have told her. Okay, so let us continue. I looked at the nameplate again. Darling, it said in black letters on white enamel. Enamel means an opaque or semi-transparent substance, that is a type of glass. So I looked at the nameplate again. So the narrator looked at the nameplate again. Darling, it said. So it was written on the plate. Darling was written on the nameplate in black letters on white, semi-transparent glass. And on the jamb, on the side post of the window, on the fireplace or on the doorway. Okay, so and on the jamb on the doorway a bit higher, the number 46. So protagonist noticed that in the address Darling was written on the nameplate and number 46. So as I walked slowly back to the station, I thought about my mother who had given me the address years ago. So now the narrator was going back to the station, and she was remembering about the address which her mother told her many years ago. It had been in the first half of the war. So it was during the first half of the war when she was informed about the address. I was home for a few days, and it struck me immediately that something or other about the rooms had changed. So he was thinking that something was changed, something was missing. I was home for a few days, and it struck me immediately that something or other about the rooms had changed. So she was there for some time, so she realized that something was changed. I missed various things. My mother was surprised. I should have noticed so quickly. I missed various things. So she had missed various things. My mother was surprised as I should have noticed so quickly. And when her mother was alive, she was surprised that the protagonist used to notice the things so quickly. Then she told me about Mrs. Darling. So that time when narrator came to know something was missing at her home when her mother was alive, then her mother informed her about Mrs. Darling and her address. I had never heard of her, but apparently she was an old acquaintance of my mother. So here the protagonist tells us that she had never heard of Mrs. Darling, but probably she was an old acquaintance. An old, acquaintance means stranger or a person who is of social contact, a person whom you know, that is acquaintance. So he thought that the lady was her mother's acquaintance, whom she hadn't seen for years, and whom the protagonist hadn't seen for years. She had suddenly turned up and renewed their contact. Since then, she had come regularly. So when the protagonist mother was alive, so they did not know the lady. Once they contacted the lady, so the lady, Mrs. Darling, started coming to her house regularly. Okay, so what we have discussed in this paragraph. So the protagonist looked at the number plate again. It said number 46. Darling was written on the plate on the white enamel. As she was going back to the station, she was thinking about her mother who gave her the address. It was the first half of the war. She was home for a few days, and suddenly it struck her that the room was different now. Various things were missing. Her mother was surprised that she noticed the changes a little later. It was that time when she told her about this woman, Mrs. Darling. She was an old contact of hers whom she hadn't seen for years. Suddenly she came to visit her, and since then they had been in regular contact. Okay, next paragraph. Every time she leaves here and takes something home with her. So here the protagonist tells us whenever that lady, that woman comes to her house, so during leaving she takes something home with her, said my mother. So the protagonist mother informed her. She took all the table silver in one go. So at a time she took all the silvers, okay, and then antique plates that hung there. So she took all the silver and then the antique plates that was hanging in their house. She had trouble lugging. Trouble lugging means carry heavy object with a great effort. So she had trouble to carry the heavy object. She was carrying the heavy object and with a great effort. So those large vases, even she took the large vases which required great effort to carry, and I am worried she got a crick. And the narrator was worried in her bag from the crockery. So because of that, she got a crick, she got a cramp, or she got a spasm in her muscle, okay, while she was taking the crockery from the in her back from the crockery. So because she was uh, taking the vases, she was taking the crockery, so because of that she got cramp or spasm in her muscles, okay. So that is her pain, you can say, okay. She got pain in her muscles. My mother shook her head pityingly. Here carry a heavy object pityingly means it is wrong, beta, it is by mistake here, okay. So okay, carry a heavy object with great effort, so pityingly doesn't mean this, so okay, so it is by mistake here, so don't note it down, okay. Shook her head pityingly, so out of kindness the protagonist mother used to shake her hand. I would never have dared ask her, so she suggested it to herself. So her mother said she would have never dared to ask the lady. No, the narrator, the protagonist says that she would never had have dared to ask the lady about the things which she used to carry from her house. She even insisted she wanted to save all my nice things. So the lady told her mother that she wanted to save her things, so that is why she used to take her things. If we have to leave here, we shall lose everything, she says. So she used to say that if you would leave, then you will lose all the things. So that is why I used to carry with them so that I can keep them. Okay. So let me explain what we have discussed. Her mother told her that whenever that woman came to visit her, she took something from the house with her, table silvers, antique plates, and she had trouble over carrying the large vase. She told her that the cramp in her back came from the crockery. Her mother shook her head in sorrow. The woman kept telling the protagonist mother that she wanted to save her precious things. If they had to leave the place someday, they would lose everything. Have you agreed with her that she should keep everything? I asked. As if that's necessary, my mother cried. It would simply be an insult to talk. Think about the risk she is running each time she goes out of door with a full suitcase or bag. So further, she asked her mother if she really wanted her to take all the things with her. Her mother replied that even if she didn't, it would be an insult to ask her not to. She was going out with a risk herself, a suitcase full of items. So it is all about today's class. Okay, so in the next video I will discuss the rest part of the chapter. Thank you for watching.